Hey people of the VC, it's Andy Cloudy Milder. Gonna do a totally CD update, what's spinning. I've been listening to a lot of CDs in November. In fact, for one reason or other, I've listened to very few records. Got a new CD player. My CD player burnt out a couple of months back, and it wasn't until last month that I managed to replace it. And this is a Sony CDP-761E, and it's actually a little bit older than the my previous model that I had, but it had fantastic reviews. It's from the, I think it's from the mid to late 90s. Anyway, but it just sounds absolutely phenomenal on my system at least. And I just kind of got into pulling out CDs and buying a few more CDs. There's a service over here called Music Magpie, which sells lots and lots of cheap secondhand CDs. And I've just been buying a load of CDs recently, and had a bit of a no vinyl ember, and even even a little note above my desk that says "Don't buy it," because I was trying to cut down on what I was purchasing record-wise before Christmas, but I ended up buying a bunch of CDs instead. Yeah, it's all been good. This is some great albums. Some of these are classics that I've not had on CD before. Just going to jump in. First one is Motley Crue, "Shout at the Devil." I really wanted to kind of hear this a couple of months back now, and I've only ever had a copy on vinyl that isn't really good enough to rip and listen to remotely. So I went out and picked up a cheap copy on CD. My favourite Motley Crue album by far. So I'm glad to pick that up. Let's look at these. Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. Now, believe it or not, I have never heard these albums before picking them up. I've heard some of the obvious tracks like Live and Let Die, November Rain. Probably missing a few. The ones with the singles anyway that were played, and they I'm used to them. They sound good, but I am so ingrained in Appetite for Destruction. I love that album. I've never ever got tired of it. I know lots of people say they don't care if they don't hear Sweet Child of Mine again. I love it. I don't play the album a lot anymore, but I love it, and to me that's everything that Guns N' Roses is. And when I hear these, bearing in mind I'm 30 years late to the party, it just doesn't sound like Guns N' Roses to me. It just sounds like, they had their day and it was done. So I'm sure these are excellent albums in a lot of people's minds, but to me, Guns N' Roses will just be that one album that they did, and I'm happy with that. I'll probably give these another spin sometime, but it just didn't grip me enough to think, wow, I'll listen to those again anytime soon. Next one, this is Blackmore, The Conjuring. I actually got this as VCLT from Blackmore Rules recently. Great straight up heavy metal. Check them out if you're not already. I think they're a Canadian band. Yeah. The next two now. So Banshee, Mindslave, and Primal. Now these are two CDs. I also got as VCLT from Scott Waters this time, and I was eagerly anticipating this one. I'd heard so much stuff about it, and I'd heard a few clips online. I thought, yep, that is going to be amazing. And as much as I enjoyed the first spin, I absolutely loved this on the first spin and proceeded to play it 2, 3, 4 times more. And straight away in my head, it was like, this is a better album than this one. Then I revisited Banshee Mindslave and thought, actually, I'm enjoying this a lot more the second time. And then I realised I didn't actually have to choose the best one because I've got them both, and I just listen to whichever one I'm in the mood for, and they are both killer albums. So you should check those out if you've not heard of them. They don't need to be compared to against each other. I just compared them against each other because I got them, given them at the same time. And so there we go. Number of the Beast, Iron Maiden. This is a recent reissue. Or in fact, no, it's not a recent reissue. Yes, it is, because it's a special multimedia section. So this is recent, being this century. Can I read it? it's one of the ones that you can tell it's an old reissue because you need something like Windows 95 to play the special content. But yeah, again, I'd never had this on CD, only ever had it on vinyl, so it's good just to be able to pick that up and listen to it. Marilyn Manson, this is a live album. This is the last tour on Earth. Like a little bit of Marilyn Manson. Occasionally, again, hated him when he first came on the scene. Just thought, well, where's rock and metal coming to if this is what's rock and metal? But in my recent years, I've really enjoyed it. Really good stuff. Was listening to a bit of Slayer. This is World Painted Blood. Went to see them last month in Glasgow, so I've still probably only listened to maybe only about half of the Slayer album, so yeah, good album. A bit of live Dio, Evil or Divine, live in New York City. This is kind of an early 2000s, I think 2003. I have to put glasses on, getting old. What's this? Yeah, 2005, I think. Yeah, I like this one because it's not just the classic 80s Dio songs. There are a few in there. You know, Holy Divers on there, Heaven and Hell, Last in Line, the ones you expect in there. But there's also things like Killing the Dragon. Yeah, so good. Like my live music. I bought a Y&T best of. This is best of 81 to 85. I don't own any Y&T on vinyl or otherwise. Again, I was aware of a couple of their songs, but not enough. They were supposed to be supporting Saxon last month again in Glasgow, but the singer put his back out, and they were replaced at the last minute, or fairly last minute, by FM. So I kind of got into a few of the tracks on here. I don't know if I need to buy any other Y&T albums. I think the tracks on here kind of go in chronological order, from what I can gather, and it started off really good and then kind of got a little bit mediocre towards the end. So maybe if I came across some of their earlier stuff, I would pick some up. But a band I've never particularly felt inclined to deep dive. Metallica, Death Magnetic. Again, first time I'd heard this album, and I really enjoyed it, to be honest with you. Lots of people have said of the recent album, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, that it's the best album since the Black Album, but I like this one. I think it's probably the best album since Death Magnetic. So there we go. Some good songs in here. I can't deny. Right, some more. Gonna go through these fairly quickly. This is kind of me ticking them off my list. I can put these away in my box and actually clear up. You see, I've still got some CDs piled up here, which are kind of for a future video. There's a few more new wave of British heavy metal albums. I need to do an episode in that series, so that'll be coming up pretty soon. Monster Magnet. This is my first dipping my toe into Monster Magnet. This is God Says No. Really good sort of modern hard rock. I did have someone in mind for this with VCLT, but actually when I listened to it, I've decided to keep it myself. Anthrax, Volume 8. Got this in a trade with Steve, Headbanging Zulu. Sorry about that, Steve. It is a John Bush era Anthrax album. It is probably the weakest Anthrax album that there is. I believe Charlie Benante plays lead guitar on all of these because he's an excellent guitarist. That's not why it's the weakest album. I just think they were not. They were kind of in their lull. But I'm a bit of a completist when it comes to Anthrax albums, and this is one I didn't have, and it was getting to be really difficult to have. There are a number available, but people seem to want ridiculous money for it. Steve showed it, said he wasn't. I don't think Steve's a big Anthrax fan at all, and I offered him a couple of CDs in exchange. and we worked something out. So thanks, Steve. Sorry it's taken so long to show this on video, and thank you for that, but I really did appreciate that one. Another John Bush era album, but this one I really do enjoy. This is We've Come For You All. This is an interesting edition. This is a summer of 2003 edition, so it's actually a 2 CD pack. The slipcase, it's got the album on CD1, and there you go, and a bonus CD called Summer 2003 on CD2. So there's the standard cover. So this is Bush era Anthrax, which shouldn't be avoided. Don't just avoid it because it's not Joey Badaud on it. It's really, really good. And this is the Summer 2003. It's kind of like a CD single that comes with it. I think it's, but it's got 8 tracks on it. There's the track listing, if you can read that. All cool stuff. But Anthrax are one of those bands I will pick up stuff on vinyl and CD. Next up, this was a band I was thinking of putting into my new wave of British heavy metal series. It's Monument, but there's nothing new about them, to be honest with you. This is Hair of the Dog, great cover. Now this band is unashamedly Iron Maiden worship. You could pick any song, and if you weren't listening exactly to the singing but just to some of the instrumental parts on there, you'd almost think like, is this that song from Iron Maiden? Is this Rime of the Ancient Mariner? Is this it is just complete Maiden worship. In my new wave of British heavy metal series, I like to concentrate on new bands that they're playing traditional metal, yeah, but they're putting their own twist on it and they're bringing their own ideas to the table. There's no new ideas here, and I don't think the band particularly try to or hide from that. It's a good listen. I'm not sure I'm necessarily, unless I see something particularly cheap, I'm not sure I'll pick up anything else by them, but all good stuff. Now, I've been on a bit of a Kai Hansen kick of late, and one of the bands that he was in is Iron Saviour. Now, I listened to a bunch of CDs, so I've picked all these apart from the first one up recently. So I showed Iron Saviour 2 of the albums in a recent video for Darcy's 6 String 9 Lives, and that just got me listening to some of the other albums I've got. So Iron Saviour is it's not just a concept album, it's a whole series of concept albums all about the ship Iron Saviour. Have a look on Wikipedia, it's well worth reading up on what the story is. So that's the first one. Then Unification was the second, again continuing the story of Iron Saviour. Interlude is it's kind of like a mini LP. There's 5 tracks live. I think they're all from the first album, and then 5 tracks that are new. Then Dark Assault was the last Iron Saviour album that Kai Hansen played on before he went off to concentrate more on Gamma Ray. Again, killer album. I initially picked up Condition Red, which is the first album that Kai Hansen doesn't play on, because I just wanted to hear what they're like, and it's an evolution, but it's a very, very good evolution. So I'm definitely going to be picking up some more Iron Saviour. So this is now without Kai Hansen. It's got a bit less of that Halloween Kai Hansen sound, and a little bit more, a bit heavier, I guess. But it's absolutely killer album. And do you know what? I'm not actually listened to this one yet, but this is the follow-up album, which is Battering Ram. Comes with a bonus track and a tattoo. Tattoos in there as well. I actually had to get this imported. Took me a while, a bit of soul searching actually to buy this, because this is more than I would normally spend on a CD. I normally just pick up my CDs second hand, and then save up and buy my vinyl first hand. for new vinyl. But yeah, really looking forward to listening to this one as well. There are 3 or 4 other Iron Saviour albums after this, but I'm going to bide my time and pick those up as and when I can get them either second hand or a decent price. There's another bunch here as well, but I'm going to save this for a video of its own right. So this bunch here is all my current Gamma Ray, which is Kai Hansen's band post Halloween, and I've been on an absolute massive Gamma Ray kick. I'm not going to go into any detail now. There's enough to do a whole collection video here, and I actually have 2 or 3 other CDs that I've had to I managed to pick up cheaply, but they're either from the US or Japan that are yet to come in, and I've just turned into a complete Gamma Ray freak and buying up everything I possibly can. Decided early on that I would just collect the stuff on CD. Some of the stuff's available on LP, some of them aren't, and the ones that are just extortionate prices. So the only way I was going to get the full discography was to go for the to get them on CD, and I didn't want a mixture of CDs and vinyl. So look out for that. Maybe in the new year I will do a bit of a spotlight on Gamma Ray. Absolutely brilliant sort of power metal band that I think what Halloween would have been had Kai Hansen stayed with them through the 90s and beyond. That's all I'm going to show for now. I'm going to do quite a few videos in December. I think I've been a bit lax on doing things like update videos and showing what I've picked up and what I've been listening to, so you'll probably see this face quite a bit more than you would ideally hope to, but bear with me. Tidy up the new year, get everything sorted away, and we can go again next year and carry on with the same stuff. Okay, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of some of these albums. Talk to you again soon. Cheers.